Hey everyone, Keith Carson here, updating you on the severe weather across the state right now. We're going to start with kind of a wide view of what's going on and then look at a couple of individual cells. We'll start with the severe thunderstorm watch, which has been up since earlier this afternoon, still in effect for a good part of the state. Within that, we do have a decent line of showers and storms and quite a bit of lightning, as you can see, a prolific amount of lightning actually with some of these cells as they move towards the coastline. What you don't see though in the state of Maine right now are any severe warned storms. You have to go down into Massachusetts where they had a couple tornado warned storms as well. But on the north side here, these are all potent storms, but nothing right now is warned as a severe thunderstorm. So if you look at the southern edge here, moving down across the beaches here in York County, we've got some heavy downpours. This cell right here has a lot of lightning just to the south and east of Lewiston, and of course in between we have Portland here, which is going to see some heavy downpours and some lightning as well. To the north, there was never as much of a severe weather risk because the dynamics just really weren't there for the turning of winds with height shear, which is what we were looking for as far as the possibility of some spin-up tornadoes, which we have not seen yet. But over northern Maine, there are still some pretty good cells here. Waterville on the north side of one here into Pittsfield as well. So there's a lot of lightning associated with that. Now, we haven't seen any cells that have been tornado warned. And I think as this line now is getting close to the coast, the risk for that is very quickly diminishing. And so when this line gets to the coastline, probably just about in the Wiscasset area south is when this is going to pretty much cease to be a tornado threat because the northern side doesn't have the shear for it. So as this line continues to move through, I would say this is the last area right here that we have to watch for potentially a spin up as it moves towards Yarmouth and Freeport. But you know, historically, we don't do a lot of spin up tornadoes in those locations. They tend to be a little bit farther inland. And we'll take a look at the velocity, which is the way that we would detect rotation within the thunderstorm or the thunderstorm itself rotating. So what we look for here is green and red next to each other in a tight couplet. And we're seeing broadly, right, green and broadly red, but that is only going around where we have the radar site in gray, which is right here, which means that this is all normal stuff. Straight line winds that are coming from these thunderstorms are detected blowing in one direction, and that's what you want to see when you're not looking to not have a tornado touchdown. So there's nothing here that looks spinny to me at all as this line continues to move towards the coastline. Put our hail tracker on. Earlier, the hail tracker was detecting 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch hail. And if we run this through right now, we'll see some of those hail tracks. And the only one remaining is the last one remaining really is out towards Sebago Lake, where there was still some hail being tracked in that particular cell. But the rest of the cells, to me, now have more of a kind of a squall line look. And usually that's not as conducive to having the severe characteristics, especially when you talk about the supercell tornado potential. That hail tracker, by the way, was showing this cell that was moving through Windham and into through Raymond right now as well. And again, this line looks pretty good, but there's nothing here that worries me too much. So I would say we're quickly dwindling the chance of tornadoes, which is obviously not a bad thing. If we run this IBM graph model through, it's doing a pretty decent job initializing, right? It's showing that rain right along the coastline right now and just through Augusta to the north. So we run this forward into 6 o'clock. The line has crossed over the southern edge south of Wiscasset offshore. And I think at that point, we're pretty much out of the woods as far as severe weather goes. We talked yesterday about 4 to 8. Turned out it was a little bit earlier, and it's probably going to be more like 3 to 6 or 3 to 7 that this risk will be still in play. Once this line moves offshore, by the way, we get a bit of a break, but we go back, unfortunately, to some periods of rain tomorrow along the coastline that last a good part of the day. And so if you haven't been paying attention over the last few days, haven't tuned in with us, you probably think Sunday is a better day than it is, especially along the coast where that rain will continue. So that's our current state of play, so to speak. I don't think there's anything here too worrisome. We're running out of time to tap into that shear and get things to spin. So I think we'll be out of the woods relatively shortly as that line collapses to the coastline. Certainly, if that's not the case between 5 and our newscast at 6, I'll be back on the air and update you. But until then, we should be in pretty good shape.